It's there. We're live. Check it out, the Leonardo experience. Yeah, train my day. Oh my god.
Yeah, I knew it as soon as you said we're live.
All right, yeah, we're here. Hi. So, well, I mean, for those of you who do not watch the Joe Rogan Experience, that was absolutely stupid what I just did. For those of you who watch the Joe Rogan Experience, I was so hilarious right now that you're laughing your panties off. So, okay, we discussed this initial meditations, improvements to my class at the beginning. Keep me on check. Let's try to do this. So let's move on. So the theoretical part of this lecture, I mean, today we're gonna discuss kind of like two things: objectivity, like in mixing. What does objectivity means? And then I'm gonna continue the editing that I was doing last week to keep discussing this deep editing exercise that we're doing. And by the way, today I'm going to add one of the things I wanted to simulate in this exercise that we're doing together. Something that happens a lot is that you are the mixing engineer and then some new tracks get added later. So today I'm going to add new tracks there that I already have them, of course, and maybe or not, you will find out later, maybe I will introduce some problems on purpose, you know, so whatever, you will see. I don't know. It's typical, you know, you receive tracks and then the other guy was a moron and didn't have any idea what to do, and you got the tracks and then you have to figure out. So that's my point. We're going to be doing a lot of these things, okay? So
it's like printed 20 decibels of compression.
Exactly. We will see. I don't know what maybe I will not add any errors. Maybe they will be perfect and you will be suspicious for some errors. I don't know. It is obvious, guys, that if you find my exercise that I did of editing too simple, tell me, because I can make it, I can push it to another level. You know, I have at least 200 songs to share with you. And if you want to practice and you want material for me, just get it.
Sorry, recording without errors, haha.
Recording without what?
Without errors.
Oh, I couldn't hear. Without?
Errors.
Without errors. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
So that's cool. All right. That's one thing I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say is, like, don't you think that we should connect the recording of a single lecture with this one in terms of mixing?
I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is that we have two options. You can mix material that I give you, or you can mix the songs that you're going to make for me in recording for a single. So think about this. Maybe don't answer to me right now, but or we can do both. You know, I have a lot of material to share with you.
Yeah, let's do both.
Okay, great. I'll share you material and I'll get you to mix your own tracks as well. I mean, for me, you should be mixing 10 songs every two weeks or something like that. Like, honestly, if you really want to get ahead of this. Anyways, so okay, great. When we're monitoring, you know, when you're mixing, you know, monitoring is usually the hardest part. That's really clear. There is difficulty. Like, I mean, when we hear, it's complicated because it's a super subjective thing. So obviously, when you're mixing, you're trying to achieve some sort of objectivity within super subjective point, like process. You know, like how the fuck do you arrive to objectivity? That's how we're gonna discuss today. So if you don't have some sort of objectivity, you will never have confidence. So these things are basic and stupid, and maybe they should have belonged to the previous course, but everything went in the way there is, and I'm trying to amend for some errors. So I like to talk basic things now, because I mean, let's just get this thing clear and, you know, and think about it properly. So it would be craziness to think that everything is subjective in the mixing process. There is an objective thing. What do you think is objective in the mixing process? Is there something objective in the mixing process?
Maybe like some kind of standards. I don't know, like some.
Good point.
Loops and this stuff.
Good point. I mean,
Technical stuff, yeah.
Okay, technical stuff is.
But it's not mixing, more like mastering, I think.
Okay, but I mean, for example, we will reach a very quick agreement that something objective is that. Oh fuck! I was gonna say that clipping is bad for a mix, but what does Artemi thinks about that? Is clipping bad for a mix?
About clipping is bad for a mix?
I mean, I have two questions for you. Is clipping bad for a mix? And
No.
is there any objective level on mixing?
No. I started using clippers, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, they're
It's
really
amazing.
useful. They're really useful. I think that I think that I have one objective thing that I can say about mixing, which is dynamic range is a powerful tool. What do you think
But-
about that? I'm not talking about
But
compressors.
some mixing engineers do really dynamic rangey mixes, and the other it's like flat as sausage.
Yeah, sure. Because that song is lacking the emotion that it requires. No, it doesn't require. Sorry, but you can say that a dynamic song contains more emotion.
Yeah,
Like-
maybe
Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying
in
to
some
find
genre.
in some genre. I think that I would go as a person that has been thinking about this deeply for many years and months. I would dare to say that the more dynamic range you can have, the more emotion you achieve.
The
But-
thing that I wanted to say that the dynamic range is kind of artistic tool.
Yes.
Yeah, do you
yes,
agree?
I agree.
And
I agree.
artistic can't be objective.
I agree. Well, I mean, like you can expect a lot of things to repeat. For example, if I make an artwork which is like the scene of a painting, which is the scene of a murder, and it's of a murder of a child, and it's super gore, that's a super subjective thing, and people will see it, and I can expect that majority of people will react in a certain way. So I do think that there is some objectivity in art. What do you want to say, Andrew?
Just finish and ask me when you're done.
No,
okay?
that's kind of it. I really believe that dynamic range is a little bit like that example I just said of like the murder. I mean, it's something like if you have it, you will trigger emotion in most people. There are some cases of people who will not feel that, but I think they're not the majority. What did you want to say?
I want to say that I guess that objectivity in the mix is kind of like resolving some frequency
Yeah.
problems. It is not subjective, I guess. Like it should work every time.
I think that we should make a distinction between subjective and case dependent or genre
Yeah,
dependent. You see?
Yeah.
Because I mean, everybody can hear a mix and say, "Wow, that has too much low end," and it's kind of depending on the genre, like in some way. So, anyways,
I mean frequency conflicts between some elements,
yeah. But sometimes it's like too much bass is a good thing for a certain track. Obviously, I mean, I think that where we are here, it's in a space which is like there is objectivity. It's very hard to point it, but like I don't know if you remember this. We once heard some mixes that had like the low end, the top end reduced, and then it was like, oh man, there's obvious that acoustic guitar has a problem.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's continue. So that's what I meant about I wanted to prepare. I did this lecture like 2 weeks ago, so that's the consequence of the news I got yesterday is that I didn't study it for today. So I'm sorry if I'm a little bit slow. So that's why I'm kind of reading and processing what the hell I was preparing for a couple of weeks ago. So I want us to look into a couple of techniques, or following the book of Mike Senior. We are going to see a couple of techniques that help us to make some decisions to try to mix better and to try to be more objectives. Of course, you want to reach to a point when you can say like, are those lyrics in the right place? Is there too much sub bass? Where should I pan my overheads? Whatever, like how much delay should I use, etc. So the first thing that the author describes is something called like fighting your own ears, which is called shock therapy. So there's something called shock therapy in general, and that's something that you try to use in order to achieve objectivity. So something that you need to know is that the human auditory system, this is really stupid and very obvious, doesn't just transmit sonic vibrations straight from air to your consciousness. Do you get that?
Not really.
Like, I mean, the frequency response of your hearing system is not linear. That's another way of saying that.
Yeah.
That's obvious. And that's not only about the Fletcher and Monson curves.
Yeah, I got it.
So it colors the raw sensory input because it has its own nonlinear response. That's the Fletcher and Monson curves. But this is really important part. It also adapts itself in response to incoming sounds. So, I mean, haven't you noticed that when you hear like an airplane at the beginning, it's like really bad, and then you kind of like get used to it, and sort of like adapt. This is your this is your brain putting a plug in and just kind of like, not turning the volume down, but changing the way your apparatus is reacting so you can still make sense of the situation. Because again, your role, and going back to our initial conversation before the lecture stream started, your role is not to die. And so your system has to kind of like figure out your environment. Even though there is noises, you still need to be able to hear the tiger. So you really have a noise suppression system that is really actively there. And when you're mixing this, your mix becomes noise on the background and your system starts suppressing it. You see? And that's why you need to do shock therapy to get you out. It's kind of like if I have a jet engine number 1 and I'm hearing jet engine number 1, and then I switch on jet engine number 2, now I have a shock, there is a new input, and I need to figure this out. So this happens because your system, you see, wants to extract the maximum information from the environments and to shield you from sensitive physical things that can damage you. So in order for you to not get skewed by listening too long or listening too loud, etc., is that you need to compensate for this reality by changing your situation. So if you go and search what is shock therapy, you're going to arrive to this. Describes a set of techniques used in psychiatry to treat depressive disorder or other illness by inducing seizures or other extreme brain states. For example, insulin shock therapy, conclusive shock therapy, or electroshocks, and deep sleep therapy. Of course, we're not going to get like a button that electrocutes your finger when you're mixing, so you can just get resetted, so we're obviously not going to do that. So in the world of audio post-production, what is shock therapy? So obviously option number 1 is switch speakers or headphones. How many of you have multiple monitoring options?
I have only like monitors and headphones, and I
monitors
don't, and I use headphones very barely,
Okay, and Dima?
I have the pair of headphones, like
Pair of headphones.
two different headphones.
And Artemi?
What you use to mix?
Do you have alternative monitoring systems?
Yeah.
So what's up? What do you got?
Just the same HD 650s and monitors.
So HD 650s and monitors. So obviously, all of you need to try to get a second pair of headphones, like if you don't have it. And it doesn't have to be the best one in the world. Like, what I'm doing with the music satellite? I go to the kitchen and I stream the mix I'm mixing, and I stream the mix I'm listening, and I hear it through the stream, to hear it in the most shitty circumstances. And I'm honest with you, sometimes I mix with the Bluetooth headphones connected through YouTube, just to see. I have done it, just like as an alternative monitoring experience. It's super crazy to do this, and I've done it like just to change, like maybe I've done it to make the balance of a kick once. Like I remember I was like, fuck, my client is complaining about this, let me just try this. But anyways, obviously switching, this is super obvious, and I obviously know that you know all of these things, but I want to talk about them from the point of view of Mike Senior and see where he takes us. So all right, great. Because we get used to things, and like I told you, there was a jet engine blasting at me, and I got used to it. So the same, you get used to your speakers. So you need to change in order for you to get a shock and just like start listening to new things. So let me just read here 1 second. Your systems are compensating for that, so great. That's okay. I think we don't need this. How can we combat ear flickleness? Well, one good tactic is to switch between monitor systems, obviously. So it instantly, when you switch between monitor systems, you instantly change the tonal frame of reference, and then you get some precious moments of clarity for a couple of minutes when you switch from system A to B, and then your system adapts again, and then you have to switch from system B back to system A. That's why ideally you would have 3 even. So
Leo, I think one important thing about this is that you have to be familiar to what are you switching.
Yeah.
Because you can switch to like a bloated mid-range headphones and then start compensating to it without knowing that was the issue of them.
Absolutely. So given that let's read this quote, given that each of your monitoring systems offer a different set of strengths and weaknesses, like in terms of your analysis of your mix, when you switch between them, when you switch between them, you're obviously going to use the good qualities of both of them, and that's really great. So that's why the monitor selection button, for me personally, is such an important thing. I mean, you need to have an A/B in front of you, either for your mixes or for your monitor selection. So this is really useful. I recommend studio owners to have a suitable monitoring section. That's the value of my Neve, for example. Like the Neve that I'm trying to sell right now, by the way, if anybody wants to buy it, call me. So the value of the Neve is that you have 2 great monitoring paths, you know, and that's not only that, I mean, apart from all the things you get. But anyways, that's really cool. So obviously the second shock therapy is to rest. So a few hours of uninterrupted rest is really great. Second important shock tactic is taking breaks. This is a couple of quotes from industry experts, like, or from great engineers, sorry. The tougher the mix, the more breaks you should take. A little throwback there to Artemi and his summer job of what's the name of Sex Trauma. Well, Artemi just left, but it's a band that he was mixing on the summer. If it's a dance song and there's a lot of frequencies, I'll do 20 minutes, then take 20-minute break, 20 minutes, then take 20-minute break. Some people recommend that. So other thoughts on objectivity, and we're almost done with the theoretical part. Da, Andruja.
Do you get paid for your breaks?
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Awesome.
Yeah, of course.
It's a dream job.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so about monitoring level. Like I have shared with you a lot of thoughts about monitoring level, and you know that. And let's see what Mike Sr. has to say about that. So, so if you hear very loud, you're gonna damage your ears, obviously. So that's no question about that. So if you end your day and you have a little high-pitched ringing in your ears, you damage that and it's never gonna come back. We know this, and that's how it is, you know. Every time you do that, you're eating away your hearing beat by beat, and there's no way to bring that back. So most high-profile engineers, they spend the majority of the time mixing at low volume. I think that this is a good reference of how loud you should mix. You should mix at a level that you can have a conversation on top of it. Like that's the best way to reference, you know, how loud you should mix. And this is a commentary by Alan Seitz. Like you see, he maybe he'll listens loud maybe for 20-30 seconds and then turns it back down, and he usually works at a level in which he can have a conversation. So that's kind of the point. So obviously when you're listening with headphones, you have to be careful to not blast it, because this is really unnatural. Like, remember that all the decibel levels are calculated at a certain distance. So when you hear, like, you know, that a decibel is X, you know, this is at a 1 meter and you are very close to your source. So this is really important. And this is something that Mike Sr. wrote, like, be aware that alcohol and drugs can tamper with the psychological protection systems that are built in your hearing. So be doubly careful if you're under the influence. And he says, yep, of course you won't. That's the book author wrote. Our ears presents us with a different perceived frequency balance depending on how loud you listen, obviously, right? We have discussed the Fletcher and Monson a lot, and today I'm going to show you another angle of the Fletcher and Monson curves that I think it's interesting. So our ears reduce the dynamic range of what we're listening to. This is brutally important. And to be honest, I have never articulated this so well like this until today. That's why I think that it's good to review all of these things from the point of view of Mike Sr. Like, our ears actually reduce the dynamic range when we're hearing at high volumes as a safety measure. And background noise becomes a little bit eliminated by your hearing system when you're hearing at loud levels. This is a security measure of our brain, and it's just working so we can kind of suppress to still hear other things even though we have a loud source next to us. And we need to mix knowing that. You mix very loud for a very long time, and then you just really don't get a sense of perspective of what's going on. But monitoring too low can also fuck you up. And you will see why in a minute. So there is another way of seeing Fletcher and Monson curves, from another angle. We'll hear you'll hear more of the frequency extremes as you turn up the volume. Let me show you. Man, and this is so good. Such a cool it's such a cool way of seeing the Fletcher and Monson curves. I have never seen it like that, and I'm really happy that I can share this with you. Look, this is the Fletcher and Monson curves as usually. If I turn something, if I turn the volume of a recording, like something like 60 decibels, which is brutal. Like, it is the same as applying this EQ here. Do you understand what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So that's a really great way of seeing the Fletcher and Monson curves. Like, one of the things that show is that our sensitivity to frequent extremes increases with listening level. For instance, moving from the bottom to the top contour, like from here to here to here to here, it's like increasing 60 decibels. Has roughly the same effect as using this equalizer on the signal. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty mind-blowing. And look at this, like 30 dBs of gain on the low end. You know, that's mind-blowing thing. I hope that you get the power of that graph. I have never seen it like that. So listening loud is in a way like applying an EQ. I'm leaving this space of silence to see if you feel this.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
And it's really powerful because, I mean, I really have never visualized it like that. You know, I kind of have not seen it like as if I switched on an equalizer, and it really is. So that's really powerful idea, and I never thought about it. So of course, if you're gonna hear in many levels, that's really great. Spectral balance is genre dependent. This is connected to how loud you should mix. You know, obviously, if you mix a pop song, it should be able to be perceived very well in some shitty speakers. So then you're gonna skew the frequency balance towards a certain area to make sure that it works. So it's important to realize that the inherent excitement of loud listening can make like a shitty mix sound more powerful. So if you listen too loud, a shitty mix, you can get convinced that it's good. So anyways, I think that you all are in the listening quiet camp, so I'm gonna skip and move on. The other thing, obviously, that is a shock therapy that can help you is to show your mixes to others. So don't be afraid of this. You need to do this because maybe at the end your ears are not the best source of analyzing what's going on. And so if you show your mixes to others, you'll get another perspective. So there's this guy called Alan Parson who gives this advice, which is like, I don't think that a single engineer has ever achieved anything working on his own. You learn from other people, so obviously you need to work with other people. And then the last thing, obviously, is referencing. So we can go straight to the point. Referencing is super important. Obviously, how to choose a good reference is really super important. In my opinion, you should never start a mix without your reference. Just never, ever in the history. And so having a system that allows you to swap between mix A and mix B button is super important. The biggest mistake you can make with referencing is to choose the wrong comparison material. So, I mean, I'm really going to skip the slides because I really want to go to the practical demonstration, but the main point is like choose wisely your references, and obviously you should mix without proto mastering, or let's call it how we call it in DTH. We have a nice word for that, which is ghetto mastering. Like we recommend to mix obviously without ghetto mastering, but when you're going to reference, you need to have your ghetto mastering on. Okay, that's really clear. There is a really nice
What is ghetto mastering?
No, like, I mean, just put a maximizer plugin on the output.
Yeah, I see.
But something that is really simple and not like really complex, you know. So you're just like make it louder so you can compare to a reference. But really, guys, and actually that was the exercise I wanted to do in class today. But it's we have our lecture runs till 4:30. Great. So we have time to do this. That's amazing. So I put you here a website that it's really good for benchmarking. This is the website of Bobcats, by the way. Wow, it was loading a minute ago. And here is a whole bunch of mixes that you can use for reference. I mean, they're maybe outside of our genres that we use, but these are songs that we don't know. So you see, like, these are songs that you can monitor at 0 dB and everything is gonna be fine. He's giving you less loud songs, louder songs, and more louder songs. So you see, if you want to see good references of loudness, of how loud something it is, it's not necessarily connected to your genre or what you're doing. It's useful to open this website and have a look, you know, of what do you have there. Like, you see, like, he also talks about Tool here. Like, these are things that you will need to hear at -9 decibels, kind of like, in order to be able to just like feel them calmly, you know. But this is a good list of, you see, like, there is rock too there, and electronic music and pop. Like, there is a lot of stuff here. So make sure that you check this reference list, because it's good to get out of your comfort zone in order to choose a better reference for you. So, okay, I have an in small class exercise, little one. So you two gave me 2 songs. Thank you very much. Now, I want you to choose 2 references. By the way, when I was talking about referencing, excuse me, there is one thing I didn't say that I think is important. I'm gonna, guys, wait a second. Let me see if it's here. Mixing, referencing, because the humans were only required to make relative adjustments all sound. Okay, this is all clear. How insistent the lawsuit? Yep. I want to say something really important for me. Yeah, I'm gonna read this slide, man, the last one, because it's really important. The biggest mistake you can make is to choose the wrong material. Great. Check your references in more than one system. This is really important. Like, you need to know your reference well before you actually hear it. So, for example, Ilya has kind of like 3 songs that are his references, and he hears them everywhere. He knows them. He has heard them in stadiums, in clubs, in different studios, and then he uses that reference. He has kind of like a rock, a pop, and he kind of uses it like that. Use internet forums to ask for references that are outside of your knowledge zone. That's okay. Don't necessarily need to search for the highest quality reference. You know, it's more important that it's something close to your zone, to your music. You shouldn't try to reference the whole mix from a single track, because different tracks will be useful for validating different mixing decisions. This is really important. When you're searching for a mixing reference, I think that you should choose, like, let's say, a reference for the couplet and a reference for the prepiev, something like that. Sometimes that's really useful. So don't think that you are going to match all your song to one mix in particular. Just kind of try to aim more towards having several songs that are helping you to make your way through. Okay, so the way to go, yeah, Andriuja, you send it here. I see. I will find it in a second. The way to go about making your comparison is also vital part of the equation, because your hearing system is so quick to compensate. This is really important. So when you are actually making a comparison between mix A and B, you need to be able to press one button and switch between them, because just like the act of going and changing them and there is silence and then hearing the other, it kind of defeats the purpose. So it's really important that you can switch quickly between mix A and B. So how you use those comparisons matters. And obviously it is human nature that anything that sounds louder tends also to sound better, so you need to compensate for loudness. So that's why we use ghetto mastering. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there, but that's how the logic should have been. Use more than one song, properly do proper, comparisons. And if your master is louder than the one, if the mix that you're hearing is louder than the one that you're mixing, then make a ghetto mastering and compare them. And I gave you that research. So I want you to choose 2 tracks that you think are good reference for your single one that you gave me on what's the name, on
Single production.
Yeah,
techniques.
single production. So I'm gonna go to get a glass of water. I come back and you should already have given me those singles, and then we will discuss them and see why they are good references, and then we will discuss how you can maybe use these to actually improve your mixes that you're doing. So I'm gonna download your songs, and I'm gonna do something really cool live with those references. By the way, you guys are a bit like internet, we're all internet sharks here. Could you send me not only the reference, Andriuja, can you send me the track? Is it really hard to get me the track, the actual MP3?
No, it's not.
Can you? And same for you, Dima. Like, do you think like in 10 minutes you can do that?
I'll try.
Okay.
Can I send it to your Telegram?
In Telegram. Yeah, send it to me on Telegram. Send me the MP3, because my goal now is to load those tracks together with your songs, and then see like, look at the reference, look at the song, let's analyze the spectrum, let's see what's going on, how do we need to approach our mix to be able to get there. That's the whole point. Okay, and when we finish that, then I will continue editing. So this is how the lectures will be. You see, theory, little exercise, demonstration. Okay, so I'm gonna go to get some water. Send me those files and we carry on.
Be good.
Thanks.
Андрюха, а где ты в нормальном качестве mp3-шку?
Что говоришь?
Где ты в нормальном качестве mp3-шку искал?
Не, он говорит mp3-шку трека Single One.
А, это я
Да.
уже скинул, да, окей. А, или ему прям... Нет, ты чё, он сказал скинуть mp3-шку этих рефов, типа. Он же поэтому и сказал же, типа, что вы интернет-шаркс.
А, бля, да?
Да.
А я хуй знаю, где взять.
Ну, вот у меня такой же
Не
вопрос.
обратно здесь.
Bro,
It's actually the question where you can find the MP3...
Я здесь
А,
не могу.
bro. Should we send you mp3 of the reference of the or the track, the actual track?
Of the
we-
reference. The reference.
It's actually the question where we can find it because the most of the places, like pirate places, is in the shitty quality.
Я думаю, скачать с YouTube просто, я хуй знает.
Just download it for YouTube. It's okay for this conversation. Like, it's obviously not ideal. Ты
Okay.
хотел просто сказать привет, да?
Привет, привет.
Ты
Is
хотел...
this
Yeah.
serious?
This is serious, yeah. And Lynx is here. Lynx is a bit not feeling so great. Wait, Lynx is here too. Here is the second boy. Ай. Давай, друзья, мы работаем.
Lynx.
Sirius и Lynx, чао-чао. Давай, давай. Ну, я знаю, что ты не хочешь, но мне нужно работать с ребятами. Я с вами не могу, друзья. Давай, 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 давай. Си. Чуть-чуть попозже я тебя возьму здесь. Серьезно. Нет, 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 нет. Давай, малыш. Я тебя понимаю, дружок. Ай-яй-яй, нет, ты стой. Дружок, я тебя понимаю. Но скоро я буду свободен, дружок. Еще 30 минут? Да, да. There we go. Так, so, yeah, if you send me just an MP3 from YouTube right now, it's gonna be okay. I see Andriuha.
I'm trying to download.
Да, meanwhile, I can start with Andriuha's case.
Yeah, let me check. I'll send you mp3 from YouTube.
Okay.
I can download it.
I have this. Junkie is your song. Yeah, if you send me your song, actually, that's also cool. So,
Yeah.
so I don't have to download it from Google.
Yeah, I'll do that. Just a sec.
Yeah. I got your song already.
I'm about to send you a reference in mp3, okay?
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, man, what I wrote you, Andrei, it's really serious. I don't know if you have read what I wrote you on the...
Not yet.
Yeah, read it, man. I wrote to both of you something that I really meant it. And I think that you two guys have a lot of opportunities to make money, like a lot of money in this world of music. More than other people, because, I mean, I think Dima has the opportunity to make music for demand, just like for media. Because he can write a lot of different kind of stuff. And man, you should be just like playing in all the parties in Moscow. Like, you need to position yourself like that. It's like, I mean, this, I cannot write this music. It's so hard to write it, and there is such a big demand for this. Like, really. Yeah, you just really need
This
to.
is Ruslan.
I guess that that's his vocals, right?
No. But it's raw because he left the country and it's just demo vocals. But I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, that's what I imagined when I heard it. Okay, let's just load here. I'm gonna do something really cool, and I think that we can see it. This is a good way to see this. And imagine right now for a moment. I think that this is gonna be quite useful for your life. I hope. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't do this, and maybe I could start doing this myself for my own work. Why not? You know. Imagine that you do this. That you load Isotope here. I'm gonna just load Isotope. Before you start mixing, I mean. Before you start mixing. I load Isotope. Let me just write load Ozone. And I'm gonna get like, so Andriuha has not sent me yet MP3, but I think Dima sent me an MP3. Here, Daft Punk Get Lucky and Dirty Loops Rock You. Okay, great.
I have a few words about the references, but
Go ahead.
I'm not sure about the Daft Punk one because I like and don't like the mix and master of this album
Да.
same time, and I don't understand why. So yeah, it's like should be discussed a bit, I think.
We will discuss it now when we hear them. And the Dirty Loops one?
Yeah, it's good reference.
Send me your track too, please.
Yeah, okay,
There,
sure.
so I can... let me just have 2 projects here. I'm gonna save this live set in... no, not here, but... SSD. No, let's go to MMS. Student file. So let me just write here students, post, files, post 22, 23. Yeah, great. So let me save this and write here reference Андрей.
Дим, ты нашел конвертер с Ютуба?
Да.
А скинь мне, пожалуйста, у меня все заблочены почему-то.
Okay, and now let me save live set. Let me save. I want to make two live sets. So let's just go back here and call it here like students files and projects, students, post, and let's call this reference Dima. Okay, so with Dima, let's just load this here. I got Dima's song, show in Finder. Let's just drop it here. Volkov. Okay, cool. And then we are gonna have it's warped, right? No, it's not warped. Is that addictive drums? Like Imina addictive?
Yeah. No.
I know?
It's SSD.
Uh-huh.
I forgot the name. The one the free drums
Great.
that you...
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. I love it. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to suggest is like, can you imagine doing this? Like, why not? You know, imagine that you're gonna mix this and you're gonna start mixing it. Before you start, you load a reference track. I'm going to load here. Do you guys use Isotope in any form?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
I don't use it for this reference function or equalizer or compression, but I use it a lot for imaging.
Okay, let's get in the custom of using it for reference because it's gonna be super important. So I need to go here to MMS and to students.
Yeah, I know this function, by the way. I tried.
Yeah, it's super critical. So I have post. I have your references here. Sorry, show in Finder. And so let me just drop this here. Reference Dima. Wait. Well, I can load them from here, I guess. Yeah, from somewhere else. They're in downloads. So I'm gonna get it in downloads here. And I have... So... come on. I guess they're in the... Show in Finder. They're in the Telegram desktop. Okay, I got it. So...
Use the dirty loops for
Okay, I'm gonna use the
reference,
dirty loops. So it's gonna load it first. And Andrew, do you use Isotope? Do you use Ozone?
I use it on only mastering stages because it's downloaded on my crappy computer and
Gotcha.
I don't. It's pirated.
Now look, like what I'm gonna do now, it's something that if you
Is it
don't do
tonal
this,
balance?
Huh?
Are you about to use tonal balance?
At the moment,
plugin?
not yet. At the moment, not
Okay,
yet. All I'm
okay.
about to do is this. Like if you don't do this as one of your main practices when you're mixing, then you really need to rethink your life and start again. You know what I mean? Like
I just put a reference track right in my project and I just press solo to.
yeah. But I mean, this is so powerful, bro. Like this way of doing it, it's like so fast, so easy. Just get used to it. Like. And the other thing I wanted to say is like, okay, let's just load here the matching EQ, and let's see the difference between them. So let's just select a moment here. More energetic part. And let's just add this full-on matching EQ to see the difference between them. I'm just like fucking around. My point with this is not that you can mix like that, is that this is giving you a map of some of the operation that you're gonna have to do when you mix, right? Like, and that's a pretty cool idea. I mean, just before you start, just run this process and then see like, look, like my material, it's obviously lacking a lot of high end. It's always, and this is some sort of level of objectivity in a way. I mean, at least in comparison to the original mix that you had, which is a commercial mix that was made by people with money, and in some cases. I find this cool, and I will start doing it actually, like as my first step, you know, do this EQ matching and then see what the hell. Let's compare this. I'm gonna make a screenshot. Let's compare this with the Daft Punk one, just for curiosity. So I'm gonna load here a reference, close this, add this. Let's add Daft Punk, and it's gonna load it. By the way, I recently found, bro, like a 1.5 hour interview with the engineer who recorded, mixed, and mastered this album. The random. Did we discuss it? It was in another lecture. No, it was not with you.
No.
It's such a different mix. Wow, man, this is so interesting that there is this mega drop here. And that's why, like, that's what, like 19. Wait, I can tell you how much it is. So it's sort of like 15K. Wow, man, the album of Get. I didn't know this. I had never seen it in a visualizer.
I think I know why. Because the like idea of mixing and mastering of the random access memories was vintage sound.
Sure, the 70s sound.
That's why.
Yeah.
Like to get some. She's up all night. Get some. We're up on.
So I mean, if we're going to approach to this mix, like, I mean, you see, like the low end seems to be okay, more closer to what we want. But anyways, I started using this function really seriously. The function of match EQ. I started using it. I'm gonna show you a case of my own practice. You know, I was doing this mix, man. I'm gonna show you something. It's just like the raw material is terrible. It's like it's done. It's like BST drums, and it's really not motivational song to mix at all, unfortunately. But whatever, you will see. You will see. You will see what I did with the matching EQ. I did actually something quite aggressive there, and I want to share with you that idea. This is here, Pismo Drugo. Just. Oh, guys, by the way, I achieved new level boss, and oh man, I'll show you something when the lecture ends. Yeah, you will see. I achieved something. I'll show you something when the lecture ends that I'm so excited about. So I'm gonna switch this on quickly. This is my mix here. Because this is like VST drums. When I'm mixing VST drums, I always give me permission to do things that I think are incorrect. But it's just like mixing VST drums for me is such a artificial situation that I end up finding artificial solutions to fit the problems. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it just ends up happening with me. What's up?
Actually, bro, I have a question.
Da.
Do you usually ask for a reference from your client?
Of course.
Or you just... But their reference can be a complete crack, you know?
90% of the time it is, and I ask at the beginning, and for example, this guy, I later, like, let me show you this particular case, like with the client, like.
I just usually receive a reference track from client and just finding something that kind of related to it, but
yeah,
better, you know.
I wrote him like, hey, do you know the band The Bronx? And he was like, no, why? And I think it's a reference, and they have a 2021 record. Look at what happened here. This is a really classic thing that happens to me sometimes quite often. And it's a good case. And I was like, I think they have a 2021 record. I think it's a great sonic reference. And when I went to see who makes it, it's precisely my favorite engineer. And I sent him this. And that guy, you know who he is Joe Barrisi. And so it was like, fuck, it's Joe Barrisi. And I said, of course we can't. I would like to edit this. I made a mistake. We can't reach that sound. Joe Barrisi is in a mega multi-million dollar studio, but I like the reference for the spectral balance. And look at what he said. Great sound though. I was thinking more like an early Queens of the Stone Age direction. But they are tweaking their guitar sound so much, so I don't think it's achievable. And I was like, that's the same engineer. Like, it is the same engineer. It's actually the reference I sent him and the reference he wanted was the same guy, coincidentally. So it happens. So I was showing you something here. I would like to kind of like quickly switch off all my processing so you see everything that happened there. I will do that in the end, but let me show you something. Can you hear, even though the stream is so shitty, can you hear how much the mix falls apart when I switch off those two ozones there? Look like
high end.
no, and also notice the belly in the mid range, like there is.
Sorry, we can't hear it.
You can't hear me?
Can't hear it, like frequencies in the sound with this quality of sound.
I get it. Like, I mean, there are two options. Either you go and watch it later in the stream, or go to YouTube now. I guess that we don't need to hear it. You can hear it later. The mark is the minute 50. So go to minute 50. I'm gonna write it here. Go to minute 50 in the stream to listen to what I did. So you can do it if you want. Like if you go here and I switch it off, the mix kind of falls apart. And yeah, this was literally just a matching EQ, like with one of the references I had, and I did this absolutely brutal thing, which is like I put it before my mix bus processing, and then I put another one after. You know, it was like just like really aggressive there. But the second one is kind of like in 35% mix. So I apply the EQ matching with the reference I wanted before mix bus. So then the mix bus does all its magic, and then after the mix bus. So I don't know. That was a bit aggressive. But let's see. Because you don't hear anything, I'm gonna close this and I mean, because you don't hear well, and I will not show you the other thing I wanted. So let's get out of here. Quit письмо подругу, нет, ciao. Okay. Save no. Okay, great. So we had a little conversation from Dima's point of view. I want to give you an opinion on your references quickly, just as a friend. Wait. Well, this is obvious. The one here. By the way, that was totally Smells Like Teen Spirit's first drum beef, you know, coincidentally, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's on purpose, just having a little fun there. Well, obviously these are super different references, right?
Yeah.
I think you're closer to the dirty loops, yeah, and you should.
I like it more.
Yeah.
The problem is that I said with Daft Punk that
uh, I can hear it like really long, and it does not bother me. Like it's like very
Yeah, it's very pleasant. It's very pleasant.
yeah, pleasant to listen long.
Yeah, of course.
But when I listen, like when I'm trying to dive into mix of random access memories,
Yeah.
like and to hear all the technical stuff, I think it's like maybe not too vintage, but too experimental.
Yeah.
Some the class when you asked us about mixing engineers that you like. I said that I like clarity of mixes when you can like touch every frequency and like feel every instrument really separated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Daft Punk album, it's like complete sausage.
Because I think for two reasons: ribbons and tape.
Yeah.
That's what I think is happening there, and that's why it's so pleasant and so natural. But it's also like it's also harsher to, so it's also more diffuse.
Yeah.
Digital is more clear and more in your face. I'm gonna jump to Andriuja's case quickly. So reference Andrei, and so here we are. And let me just like I think Andrei already sent me the tracks here. Yep. So let me go here to Andriuja. Thanks the universe, or thanks God for what's the name, for the Telegram folders, man. Dude, like that's why I can run everything from Telegram. Like it's crazy how amazing it is. I'm so grateful. Yeah, Telegram is so amazing. Okay, so let's go. Let's load the reference track here. Of course, it is obvious that we need to have good quality references. Like that's not a question, obviously. But just we did it really quickly, and so it's gonna be on downloads, I guess. No, yeah.
It's a real problem that Deezer left Russia because I used it only for references because you have this lossless.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. It sounds like Lavrov. Like the guy sounds like Lavrov. Okay, let's do the same thing. Let's quickly run here like a EQ matcher.
Can you choose another part when the vocals not pitched?
Got it. Good.
Хромастик на стенку сок. Я хочу пить иммержинсо. Вся голеба поза есть гузо. И эт малышка мне на стенку сок. Я хочу пить иммержинсо. На стенку сок. Я хочу пить.
Okay, let's do the same and see like what's the difference. And I mean, my proposal would be start here. You have a reference, you run the match EQ, see what is the difference between your reference and this will help you to not mix like with your eyes closed. You know, it's kind of like, okay, I have a plan, you know. What's my plan?
Я хочу пить иммержинсо. Вся голеба поза есть гузо. И эт малышка мне лицо.
I like how it's like slow motion frequencies here.
Улетаю в прям с ее зада. Смотрю себя сквозь люмин. Глэмко гоним у микро. Зацени дерьмо. Мощный как Кинг-Конг. Прыгай как пинг-понг. Не моностерео. Курю дерево. После вхожу в ее двери так уверен.
I think that some bullshit is happening here.
I think I
know what's happening. Yeah, there it is. Interesting, super interesting. Yeah, there is something like sub 40 hertz, you see? There's something missing there, sub 40 hertz. I heard it from the first moment when I heard if I switch off this EQ, well, I guess that for you it's stupid to hear this right now because I guess you don't get anything there. The only thing that can help us here is this visual representation, because you're online. And when I heard it, the first thing I thought was like, man, this thing is missing some 60 hertz, like under 40 or something.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and you can see it with the reference. Now, this area here, this cut that you see here is super typical. That's like something that kind of like many people find themselves stuck there, and it's really important. Okay, cool. We had this little discussion. Now I move on to another thing. So I'm going to continue our editing, our big editing that we were doing. I don't forget. And I think that with the time I have left, we're going to have a lot of things that we can extract from there. So you see, again, this is how the formats of the lectures are going to be from now on. So it's faster, louder, and I hope more cool. So let me open my project that we were editing here. It's in my Venus hard drive, and let's go DTH and let's go active, and we were here trouble juice, and we were here edit MMS 1. We still have this like document that I'm filling up as we progress. So let me just go here and move quickly to browser again. Yeah, here it's gonna be, I guess, in our, let me get out of here. In our deck of slides, I'm adding more information to these skills and thoughts that are critical, in my opinion. So this thing is gonna continue being edited and added. So just in case, so if you see me typing or something, that's what I'm gonna be doing. So let me just minimize this. So where we left last week is that we had everything kind of like running. By the way, Andrew, any news on your Pro Tools situation or no news?
No, I'm trying to steal it.
Look, Pro Tools 12, you will be able, but you're gonna need a PC, man. Actually, for a while, I used to have, I think, Pro Tools 10, but then it's like depend on how new is your software of your computer. You can use like Pro Tools 10, you know, like depending on how new your Mac software is. Maybe you can't open Pro Tools 10, something like that. So I don't know. I really think that, bro, like you have kind of no option but to buy it. Like you need to kind of come to your family or something and say, listen, I need 30K. Like, why? Because I really need this program. It's like you will have it forever, like in perpetual license. And that's
it's not a sub, yeah.
If you want to do this, just write me and I'll help you to locate which one we bought. We just bought it and we bought it for 30K. Like,
okay.
And this is a super powerful thing that it will be with you forever. Like you have Pro Tools and you have it forever.
And it works and activates in Russia, yeah?
Yeah. This is the one I bought, and I
because
bought it.
I remember the story that you.
Yeah, but that was an academic license.
Like, it was academic,
yeah.
So it was special.
It was a special license and blah blah blah. So, anyways,
okay.
If you don't, you're gonna be able to buy it, and I think it's kind of like obligatory investment. Like you cannot not have it. I know that the school cannot ask you to make this investment. Either that or learn how to do all of this in Ableton, which. Okay, so where we stopped, and I really remember where we stopped last week. We were looking at this situation, which is like I replace a hit. Remember, it was this one, and I took it from somewhere else. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I took it from somewhere else, which was not exactly the same part. I mean, I took it like from the end or something, and that was really cool. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Now, I mean, I want to edit. My goal today, I think that I covered enough things of drums last week. But I want to tell you something. We may run a couple of minutes later, okay, guys? Because I made this long monologue at the beginning, and I want to recover the time. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. When I do have to tell you something about Beat Detective. When you made it with Ilya Masaev, did he explain it to you in the same way as me? Or he had a different technique? It's very likely that he had a different technique.
Yeah, it's different.
So my technique is more like, it's more aggressive. It's like quantize everything and then fix the problems. Some people don't like that. And other people like to do it a little bit differently. It's like, you see, I have a group that selects everything. please give me some attention, because this is an alternative way of using a beat detective that is really powerful. I don't use it because I'm too I'm too in a hurry, and I just don't want to. I think both techniques take the same time, but maybe this technique I'm going to show you now for beat detective, it's more logical, and maybe it's better. I think it can be better. So you see, you make a group of the kick, for example. So I grabbed two tracks there and I call them kick, and then I make a selection of these, of only the kick, and then I'm gonna quantize all of this thing here, and so then I check that my beat detective has like beginnings in 0 and 0. So in this case back here it doesn't, so it needs to start in 0 and in 0. By the way, one little tip when you're using beat detective, you see, like, this is a wrong hit. This guy was so off. He was off by almost 1/2 of a beat or something. So just move the last hit to the correct place. That would really help you. Or maybe that's not the case here, but anyways, you see my point. So you see, I have made a selection that it's only kick. It's starting from 0 and 0, and then I'm gonna load beat detective, and then I'm gonna click separation, capture selection, analyze. So I have made an analysis of beat detective only from the kick point of view, and then I can select the rest of the drums, and you see, like, those markers that were made for the kick now apply to the whole song. Like many engineers that I know, they like to use beat detective like this, not like how I showed you. Because how I showed you, you see that those separators, they were not taking into consideration the ride, the ones that I just did here, like this padhod, like those separators that were created, they don't take into consideration the ride or the hi-hat or any other things. They were just kick focused, and that can be more clean maybe. I don't have an answer to you of which of the two ways is better. The reason why I use my way is because I became fast on that, and it just helps me to work faster. So let me just smooth this, and let's see what was the result. Well, I mean, I think this thing was so poorly performed that not a bad result in after the zbivka. Bad, but you see, it was bad for the snares. So the way I make it in comparison is that I kind of like, I grab a group which is all the drums, and all those little elements of the drums, they participate in the segmentation of the tracks. So I mean, personally, it's not like I get a better result like that. I think that I spend same time as the people who are doing it in the correct way. You see, like, I'm using the drum group to dictate for me the separators. So some of those separators are coming from the hi-hat. And sometimes that means that you end up chopping a moment on the kick that you shouldn't be chopping it. But that's the thing that I fix manually later. So I conform this, smooth it, and then run. Okay. These are two alternatives.
Maybe the correct way only applicable for the level of recording that
we have
is
here.
kind of good, because this assume that the hits between kick should be in place or not.
What do you mean? I didn't understand so well.
The algorithm, like when you choose only the kick,
yeah,
it doesn't work for it does not analyze another sounds.
Yes, correct.
So algorithm assumes that the all other sounds between kicks
are not important.
Not important, kinda straight.
Yeah.
So yeah, not so much mistakes in these small elements.
Yeah, you know, I just remember something. When I saw this alternative technique, because I saw it like 7 years ago or something, and I just remember it. that guy made a group with snare and kick, not with only kick. I really said it wrong here. So let's give this guy a chance and let's just do it like that. Like make a group of snare and kick. So the thing is gonna get focused on the snare and kick. Now it's gonna ignore all the toms. It's gonna ignore everything.
This technique is kind of you take the
core
kick
elements,
and snare
yeah.
as anchors.
Yes,
anchors.
correct.
Yeah.
And then you apply
all
that.
other sounds just linked to the kick
Exactly,
and the snare.
because it assumes that they are the most important parts of the composition. And
Yeah, and if the all other hits fucked up really bad, so this won't work, I think.
No, what happens is that, I mean, you see, I anyways need to go and fix something manual later.
Yeah.
Like in this technique, you will find yourself having to fix something manual as well. But I'm just checking what I did here. 0, 0. I'm gonna separate. This is with kick and snare. Oh no, wait, I shouldn't separate. You first generate the separators, and after you generate the separators, then you pull it down and apply those separators to other places. Wait, so there you go. Click. So overhead, room, separate. Okay, so now I'm gonna separate this. This was with the kick and snare group. Conform and smooth. Well, he did the ghost notes really well. And there's still some bullshit there, but that's because of the performance. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, bass. Let's do bass 1 second. Man, I always start, I mean, you know this theory in physics that light always follows the path of least resistance. So it travels in a straight line. You know this, right? So my proposal to you is like always try to solve problems in the path of least resistance. So I always start by just trying to see if Beat Detective can help me to fix the problem. And if not, then I'll see what the hell. So for the bass, in this case, it's super easy. You have two microphones. They are both looking at the same thing. Now, Beat Detective on the bass, it's not necessarily so good all the time. Let's see. Let's see what we got and how do we end up. So I made this separation. Starts from 0 to 0. Load Beat Detective here. And now I go to the clip separation. Make sure that I have the same, the same selection as that I have here. And then I need to play a little bit with the algorithm. So let's see. Is he reading it well? I think it is. In the bass, I usually do this. I ignore kind of ghost notes and things like that. And I take only big hits. It's kind of like, I think it's more accurate. And then I separate it, obviously, with the trigger pad in 7 milliseconds. And conform. So, cool. And so now I have the bass there. Let me see something. I have the grid in triplets. That's why it doesn't look so convincing. Now I have the grid in 8s, and it looks more convincing. And let's conform it, and let's see what happened. Sorry. Smooth it. Let's see. I think it's going to be a mess. I remember trying to do this in... What happened there? So sure. Great. So usually, what I do is like, I see that it worked, and I'm like, oh, damn, it worked. And then I just get really... Do you know the word gluttonous?
No.
It means like when you eat a lot, like like, and then I get very gluttonous, and I'm like, okay, if it worked for that little kusochek, it has to work for the whole song. And then I try the whole song. Many people are not in favor of this type of technique, but I just believe that speed is paramount here. So let's find that last snare hit. Oops. For me, it's paramount to make things faster, so I can play with my kids. So, okay. So I have the last hit, you see, and then I'm going to make a whole selection to all the bass, and then I'm gonna go fades and delete fades. And I'm gonna, you cannot do Beat Detective with fades on, so I'm gonna make the analysis here. Sometimes you make the analysis and it doesn't reach it well, and maybe you need to change the algorithm. Just like in Ableton when you're doing warping, you know, you need to change the algorithm. So he's making an analysis, but I don't see him working. What the hell is going on? Did he finish the analysis already? Well, seems like it did. So now I made all the separations, and let's conform it to 16 notes. Yes, and see what happens. And let's smooth it. Did it work? Fill and crossfade, smooth. And I will solo it immediately. And now you're gonna find yourself with this problem, you see? Like the way he hammers this note, it's super wrong. You see, like this thing should be like this. But Beat Detective missed that. So, because these guys were playing funk, and you cannot play bad funk, like it just sounds like crap. So you end with this, like, and it's, you hear that there, like, so this is going to be an important tip here. One of the ways to get rid of that is to try to change the algorithm of the crossfade. Like sometimes this helps and it sorts the problem out. But if you see like too weird waveform there, it means that you're going to have a problem. So you can move around. Like that was more tolerable. But still, I hear like a there. I don't know if in the streaming quality that you have now you hear it. And I think it's going to be here forever. There is nothing I can do about that. I can also try, another trick is like to try to make the crossfade a lot smaller, like very smaller. Let me try that and see if it helps. I still hear it. So obviously, I mean, then I have to check another take. That's why I have the takes there. And so here you see this masterful bass player is doing this almost in every take. Can you tell me by looking there which one looks like it's the best one? If you can try to just guess it by your eyes. Which one do you think is the best one? One,
the first
2,
one?
3, 4. This is the one I'm editing. This is take 1, take 2, take 3, and take 4.
Take 1, maybe.
I think that take 4.
Yeah.
I think that take 4, and the reason is because it's longer. You see, look, it kind of like what I need to do to fix it. It has to be a bit less. And so now I try this take, and I promote this take up, and let's see. Oh, it was perfect. And you see, I edited without listening. It's like next level, Lord. Fuck yeah. So, okay, great. I mean, the procedure follows the same as we were doing in drums. We run I mean, personally, what I do, my algorithm is run the whole thing and switch on the metronome and just only hear bass alone. And then be correcting all the issues as they appear. Like, what I have in my arsenal of toolkits that you don't have is, you see, like, I was like, option A, try different fade, didn't work. Option B, makes fade smaller, didn't work. Option C, go for a next take, worked, great, go. Like, I have tried so many things. Like, there is also like an option W, reverse this like thing that looks like the bass, and or also I have sometimes opened another project and stolen like this note from another project. Like, I really have done things like that if you are in an emergency. So the only way you can figure this out is by trying and trying and trying and trying and editing and editing and editing and editing. And then you're gonna get to a point when it becomes a video game, and then you're unstoppable. Kind of like you have all the cheat codes. Great. And now, you know, I tell you this tip. I have this very nice DD, and I know this is going to be a problem, and there are a lot of them. So let's color it. You know, let's use the color. So that guy is a green one. So let's keep it there. Maybe I will need it later. There is another one there, you see? It's too fast, so whatever. Why suffer, man? Why suffer? So, great. It turns out very chotka. this da was super lame. So I need to increase the resolution of the grid here, right? And then you see like this second this one was late. So now I have Okay. I did something. Have you opened the tracks yet, guys? Because I did something. Nobody has contacted me. There is an error that I unpurposefully did. And so there is a chance that... Wait, I'm just hearing this. Okay, that's better. There is a chance that maybe you haven't opened the tracks yet. It's okay if you haven't. I'm not going to be sad or angry or something.
I haven't, sorry.
Okay.
I'm having hard times with time.
Yeah, take it easy. And Andruja, you don't have even Pro Tools. Like, that's going to be hard.
But I don't have a Pro Tools, but I will try to do this in Ableton.
That would be amazing. And
I
it would be amazing if you show us how.
Yeah.
Okay, when you load the tracks, you will see that there is some question that there is no way it cannot come in. You know, I'm waiting for that question. So, okay, about guitars, guys, the procedure is exactly the same. You know, make sure that I have my group of guitars on. And after this, I will not come back to the topic of... Maybe I will talk something a little bit next week, but we're not going to come back to this. I mean, we did it. I already showed you how I edit guitars, drums, and bass. And I would continue towards the mixing areas and to more interesting grounds. We have 38 lectures together, and we're in lecture 4. So there is plenty of time to cover a lot of material. So I'm really happy about that. So, okay, same procedure. Check my whole thing. Separated. Conformed. You know, I already see that there is a mistake there. Let me see. Clip separation. Capture selection. Separate. I mean, let's see. Why I have an error? 8, 10, 1, 8, 10, 1. I separate it, I conform it. Let me conform it to 8 notes. You see, like, I'm having an error here. You see? Look at this. Like, this guy is putting this. It should be here. And that's a case in which Beat Detective is just acting a little bit weird. It happens. You know, you know why this is happening? Because these tracks have a bit of noise, and he is, like, selecting the cutting point based on maybe one of the guitar microphones that I have there. And maybe one of those microphones is a bit dirty, and it's telling to the Beat Detective algorithm to perform a cut where there is not yet a guitar attack. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that means that maybe it's more wise to do what I showed you today. It's like, let's make this selection only of the guitar DI and take it all the way to here from 0 to 0 and make the analysis only for the guitar DI, and then send that result to the rest, you know, and then conform it. Sorry, separate it. Conform it. Let's see if he made the same mistake. I conformed to 8th notes, which I think it was a mistake. And also I missed one important here. Sorry, I'm going to start again. I'm almost done here. Capture selection. So, look, you see I'm missing one hit there, and I don't want to miss any hit. So let's increase the resolution. Oh my god, he's not getting a hit. How can I do that? Can I fix that? Do you know how? I mean, I guess the discussion is for the meeting with the little hand, right? Like, yeah. So I can add one more marker here. And now I have added another marker. Sometimes it does this. I really don't understand why he deleted the previous one. He's not letting me add one. So you need to hit like Shift, Alt, or I don't remember which one. Sometimes it does that, and it doesn't let you add a new marker.
You need to switch the view to Beat Detective. Yeah, here. Not from the waveform to... I forgot which one.
No, he should
actually yeah, Mazaev showed us like very different process of Beat Detective.
He was showing you not Beat Detective. He was showing like using, you mean like
yeah, this one.
Yeah, it's like Ableton. He's doing time stretching. That's cool that you saw the two. He's using elastic audio.
Yeah, elastic audio. Yeah.
That's great.
So
I'm
it's
super
different.
happy. I'm super happy
because it's warping, but if you do not warp like really hard, it's kind of better.
No, it's really fast. Yeah, it's really fast and really good. But I'm not warping here, you know. Like, yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool that we showed you two different techniques. I didn't know that. That's amazing. I'm really happy for that. So I need to have my grid. What's up with my grid? Why is it so weird? Anyways, I have made all my markers there. I'm really happy with that. I see one of them is missing, like here. And this guy, I think it really should go here. I'm gonna put it kind of like here. I'm making a little bit of a cheating here. And I'm a bit shocked of the fact that my grid is a bit weird looking. Something weird here. Well, anyways, I'm not gonna suffer for now. I have made my analysis here. Added some little markers. You know, with the little hand you can add them, but I don't know. There it is. He's not letting me freely change it. Maybe I need to get out of grid mode and to be in sleep so I can add them. With Alt you can remove them. Let me see if I can add them in any place. He's not letting me. Like, this is a case where you really need to change the algorithm. He's just not seeing that transient. And so we can try, for example, high emphasis and analyze it. And now you see, now I was able to put that marker because I have a different algorithm of analyzing transients. Yeah, now I can put it anywhere I want. Not anywhere I want, but it works with this acoustic material. So I have a bad... Now I have a good selection. Let's apply this to everything. Separate and then conform. Let's conform to 16 notes. And now I still get some bullshit. You see, like I really don't know why. I have to study why. Sometimes this happens to me and then I kind of have to do it manual and I'm like, oh fuck, why is that? So I crossfade this and let's see how it works. These guitars that I just edited, I think they're gonna be super shitty. Oh, not so bad. Let's mute the bass and let's go. Oh, cool. So we have some decent there. So I'm gonna do another Kusocek and then I let us go. So let me see. Let me see another moment. Let me grab a bit of a longer moment. Let's do it all the way till here. And so let me take it from here and take it all the way till the end. All the way till here. I need to go back to grid mode so I can be more safe. And I have done this. Fades. You need to delete fades. You cannot do bit detective with phase. And then go clip separation, analyze. And so he's looking more. He's like tuk tuk da 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 da. That's great. He's kind of doing like good slices there. That's so cool. Cool. You see it like cool. Hit. That's a good hit. Boom. I can quantize this brutally and then see what the hell happened. And now let's smooth this. And then here. Aha. Right away there was a problem. So you see, it's because I didn't have the first hit in the right beginning. So now I just fix it. Now I hear another bullshit right here. Like there is this like thing. This note is repeating itself. So I need to just get rid of this. And you see, like this is a great case. I'm happy that it came out. Like this guy played it so bad that maybe I'm gonna have to do something really brutal. I'm gonna have to completely mute this hit. And it's gonna be a bit unnatural, but I can fix that with reverb. And you see, and I got away with it. Like my ear really, I mean, you don't hear it well because you're online, but my ear doesn't hear that really. So now I hear some issue here and it's in the same place. So I'm gonna have to maybe many times mute those guys. I also heard some artifacts there, and the process of fixing those artifacts is the same. Like, you know, expand backwards. If it doesn't work, check playlists and find a better take, or go to another moment in the song and fix it. So let's see how we are doing with all the drums, bass, and guitars together that I just edited. I mean, it's a bit brutal because we're doing it in a hurry, but let's see. that's pretty comprehensive and cool. Now, my final remarks, guys. I'm getting some feelings from some... by the way, I spoke with Denis Iganov. I called him and I told him what happened last lecture, by the way. I myself called him and explained him. Yeah, of course, because it was not okay. It was not okay what happened. So I publicly, again, insist that I made a mistake on making a remark about him publicly, and also it shouldn't have been like that. That was a mistake, and I'm a human being and I make mistakes. So I just called him, told him, hey man, and I told him my honest opinion. I was like, dude, I think that the way you approached to me in that sense, maybe it reduced your potential income. So if you don't care about that, that's cool. But so I just wanted to know that if you ever talk about this with him, he already knows and stuff, and I'm really happy about that. I think I made a mistake and I shouldn't have done that. So wait, let me stop the string. Bye.